Hello and welcome to Dungeons and Dragon Wagon Chapter 7 Roundtable. Man, can you guys believe that we've done 7 chapters already?
No.
It feels like we just started the game, but we're so close to the end of our story here.
I feel a little bit older and a little bit bolder.
Older and bolder?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting older too.
Yeah, I'm getting older and becoming more of a wuss. Of course, I am Jake Lloyd here with Paul Bianchi, Matthew Hinksman, Alexandra Hoy, and Chapter 7 was a fun, super fun chapter.
So fun.
That also had some great emotional moments
Yes.
and some stuff that really kind of came to a head. And let's talk really quick about Andrew Mena, our guest of Quest for Chapter 7. Andrew,
How good was he?
he was great. The second he opened his mouth for the first time,
Yeah. It was a bit of
Oh.
a surprise, but it was so fun.
I had that second experience of like when Gina came on and I was like, this is my daughter. Oh, I'm your daughter. And then exactly the same thing happened with this is my son. Oh, I'm Fenferril. You know, I can't do it. That's not the voice.
You know what? But that one was excusable because then we found out you weren't his real
I saw
son.
them in the dark, Father, and I thought, what would Father do? So I brought them in. Like,
That was what made it more surprising. We met his father, like, okay, we know what's coming. Nope.
yeah,
Nope.
the fact that, but of course, it turned out that wasn't his father, so it kind of is great.
Yeah.
Still don't know where the accent would have came from. But
No, because
maybe,
he would have been
maybe his,
raised. Maybe his mom was.
his elvish mother spoke in. I mean, he said that it was Hispanic German. That's what he said it was, and I was like, sometimes it was Hispanic, sometimes it was German.
Maybe the elves of Biteport have taken their own, like they have their own
a certain accent.
Yeah.
Sure. I loved the voice that he gave, and he was so good at staying in character.
Oh yeah.
Almost so that I'm bothered at how much we had to just cut from the episodes, not just because, again, we've talked about this ad nauseum, for the sake of making it very...
Immersive.
Thank you. I always forget the word immersive. She knows it too. For making it as immersive as possible, we cut sort of our out-of-character chatter, and there would be a time where one of us would ask Paul a question in Chapter 7, and I just call him Fenferril. Andrew would just jump in as Fenferril and keep doing the bit and keep doing the character over our out-of-game talking.
Yeah.
That it became like, oh damn it, this is so funny, but no one's gonna hear this. We should just make a like Fenferril
Gag reel.
out of game, gag reel.
Outtakes.
He was so good at on the fly, just coming up with these great little bits of wisdom and these idioms and stuff like that. That's hard to just do, like just to come up with and sit and write those. Like he was just knocking them out. That was very impressive.
I'm actually curious to ask him if that saying he kept repeating that he said his father taught him was something that he just said the first time and then kept it going, or if that was a character trait where he was like, oh, I'm going to go in and I'm going to say that my father, it's that...
Maybe he developed that backstory.
Violence is not strength. Compassion is not weakness. He kept saying that over and over again. And I was like, God, that's so perfect for him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Also-
Andrew is just naturally a very wise guy.
I think so.
Who's to say?
Yeah, sure. It's also fascinating that he got a father figure out of, wasn't it Rathiel?
Uh-huh.
And Adeline didn't, despite being of the same blood.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
You got it backwards.
Oh, what did I say? I said, it's surprising that he got this great father figure out of Rathiel, and Adeline did not, despite being of the same blood. I said exactly how I meant.
Oh,
meaning
Even though we're both related, we had such different experiences.
precisely. I was just trying to tie it into that we haven't mentioned that they were related yet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I was lost too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And it was really fun. I'm so glad that Adeline has this half brother now, after having a pretty awful family, except for Charles, who died. So, it leaves her a little less lonely in the world.
Yeah.
Well, remember she used to go to those art openings with her mom.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was very familiar.
That's true.
Piece of art.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, it gives Adeline maybe a bit of closure. Like, hey, this person has my blood, and this person's pretty great.
Yeah.
So I'm not cursed to be a terrible person or something. Yeah.
Also, we know that Adeline's father, her actual father,
Gaius,
King Gaius Summers.
Not to be confused with King Caius Falchion.
Yes.
Well, we were discussing that and how, how wealthy families always have very similar sounding names anyway. So many Johns.
Yeah. Like at some point, Gaius and Caius were both the same name, but different.
Yeah,
people.
sort of like John and Juan.
Exactly. Yeah. or Jesus and Jesus. What was I going to say? I forgot what my train of thought was. Yeah. I was going to say, King Caius was practicing magic, at least trying to. And Adeline, according to what Alexandra told us, she was always bothered by that and always sort of wasn't a fan of magic because of it. And now you have this half-brother who's this incredible mage and has used magic in front of her countless times for this incredible benefit to save children and to save this person and all, to heal. And it's this different side of magic.
It was definitely very healing, knowing her father was so maniacal and, sadistic.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think it's a nice little button for Adeline. I'm
totally
happy. Fenferril is great. Yeah. What were some of your favorite standout moments from Chapter 7 in its entirety, both Part 1 and Part 2?
I think just the Moonwalk in general. I love that concept. I love a dreamscape.
Me too.
It's the surrealism of it.
Yeah, that Moonwalk was super fun, and I'm so glad that we got Gina Devivo to come back in and redo Asteria's lines. Paul, when we were playing it, Paul was like, well, she's talking, so I guess we got to get Gina. I was like, all right, I guess Gina's coming back.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah, thank you so much.
She's great.
God, it was so good. And the fact that Adeline charmed a ghost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, it's one of those X factors in D&D or this type of role-playing game is that, if someone rolls high and the enemy doesn't save, then it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody, got to face something in that, which was nice because generally there is always one of the party who's sort of the focal point of any specific chapter or specific adventure because of a relationship that's happening or because of and I feel like what made 7.1 great was because every single character was forced to progress as a character and
face their inner demon.
Us as players had to decide in the moment what to do with these situations that were presented to us. It was fun. It was actually really cathartic too.
Yeah. I think this might have actually been my favorite episode.
I agree. So far, I think the Moonwalk might be my favorite episode, which is tough, but there's so many great ones.
Yeah. I told you guys after we did it, but this trope, for lack of a better word, was one of my favorite things to see or read in fiction where 3/4 of the way through a movie or something, a character goes on some kind of a vision quest or something, and they have to face their demons and stuff. So when I saw that's what was about to go on, I got really excited.
Yeah, we were all Luke seeing his head in Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah. And I loved so much of the imagery, Paul, that you created with the fact that the bird that I was afraid of came out of the egg that the girl is in, and Junk facing himself in a mirror. All that stuff was amazing. Yeah, that was really cool.
And the idea that there was so many fun little subtext things where I feel like if somebody were to novelize this chapter, it would be so long because there's so many.
Right.
I mean, the fact that Junk sees himself and he sees this Orkin, but that the rest of the party just sees the reflection of Junk, that was brilliant because it's exactly the way Junk keeps seeing himself as this monster, and the party's like, Jake. Freudian slip.
Are you a man or a Muppet of a man?
The rest of the party just sees who he is, and I think that's brilliant. The fact that Matson had these two fears, one collectively being the girl, the egg girl, not being there. The thing that killed Junk, his friend, and that was sort of the vessel, for lack of better terms, of the woman who he fell in love with, carrying her severed head, blaming him for all of those. And Gina did such a great job of just man, she was fucking mean to Matson until, of course, she was charmed.
Yeah, it was a little too much for Matson. He was cowering in fear.
Yeah, Junk didn't let him cower though. Junk, I feel like Junk in that moment was like, no, you know what? It was weird because Junk is rarely the person who figures something out. I think after watching the way Orny handled Kelber Atticus.
Yeah.
Let's give Orny some credit here too.
Yeah,
immediately,
absolutely.
no bullshit. Just I'm done.
I feel like once Junk saw that, he was like, okay, this is just a thing that we have to do. So these are all going to suck. despite he was still not prepared for what he was going to get. I think he thought he was going to get something about Kelber Selfin. He was going to get like Kelber Selfin be like, you killed me!
Yeah.
And holding a dwarven pube comb or something. But he ended up with something way worse.
That made me feel so good when we reached that island and I watched you react to what it was. Like I watched you get excited to like, oh, this is going to be so good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lit up. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it now because it's just like when we're in a moment like that moment to me was reminiscent of when we recorded chapter 5, which was King Caius with Jeff Torres. And we went to like 2, maybe 3 in the morning recording that episode. And once we walk into the throne room,
I mean, our energy, our adrenaline shot up, even though it was so late.
I had goosebumps.
We did 2 episodes back to back.
And doing the whole thing with fighting, was it Janessa? Was she the evil one?
Jenna?
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't evil.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Listen. And I just remember like the way that I was so invested in that moment and I was like crying in studio because I was like, I want this to be good. And I was feeling it so much. I had the exact same thing watching that and feeling that as I was orating those fucking monologues to you guys. But thanks for putting up with that, by the way. Yeah, I mean it was super fun, that moonwalk. And then of course the moment that we discover collectively that Fenferril and Adeline are indeed related and that they both have to face their thing of fear, whatever you want to call it.
Shared demon.
Yeah, their shared demon in King Caius.
Gaius.
I'm sorry, I did it again. In King Caius. Also, Andrew's choice, Fenferril being essentially a pacifist in a way and not really doing damage until the first time he ever did damage was in the second part of the chapter in the tent when he wants the battle over the children and over the town of Sunsea to end, and he puts his hand on that girl and does inflicted wounds, which is like the most evil of all of he took a hard turn for that one moment.
Well, I think that's because there were kids involved. I think you know, Fenferril might have like a moral scale here, and if you dip onto that side where it's just like
there's a line,
there's no going back for him. Maybe,
but that was great because in that fight, like Adeline had to put her father down, but probably couldn't do it without Fenferril because Fenferril made him blind. Fenferril did all of these things to help us as a party and boost her. I like to think that in previous times Fenferril attempted to do the moonwalk, because as we know, he's tried multiple times, that he said in the episode, like he was always walked to the island he knew was for him, but nothing would present itself. And I feel that was simply because Gaius couldn't present itself without the other half of what needed to be battled. Like, you know, like you guys were sort of a yin and a yang.
Yeah, that's what I imagined as well.
Yeah.
We needed each other to finish it.
Sure.
Absolutely. Do you think Rathiel knew, like when he saw Adeline but didn't say anything?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I feel like Rathiel, of course, takes cues from oh man, Lord of the Rings fans are gonna hate me, but I can't remember
Hugo Weaving's character,
or the main elf at that they encounter, the male elf.
Elrond?
Yeah. Thank you. Elrond Hubbard. But like there's that, like once an elf reaches a certain stage of their life, I feel like they become sort of all-seeing, and I think that was very much the thing right away. He was like, my son needs to go and do this, but also this I knew this would happen one day.
Right.
Right.
Cool.
Well, he did even say, like, I knew you would ask me for the Shadow Blade, or whatever it was called.
The ghost knife.
The ghost knife.
The ghost knife, yeah.
Which, by the way, you told us something. Can you tell us about that ghost knife?
Oh, yeah. So the spirit blade, within a spiritual realm like the Moonwalk, is fully activated. You would, if he had pulled it out, you would have all seen it fully. Like, you would have seen the blade of it, because it only exists in the spirit realm, and it would have one-hit killed all of your every enemy on the course.
And I love that Fenferril took it. The guy who's not going to use a blade ever took it and went, for luck. Like,
because that's what the Moonwalk is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about mustering the courage to face and defeat your enemy. And thus, with the Spirit Blade, you strike them down with one hit because you have the strength and resolve to do it. But without it, you have to chip away like a standard battle.
Yeah. It was a poetic chapter for sure, that 7.1. We also learned a couple of things other than just Adeline and Fenferril, and that is that there's another set of siblings in this universe. Rasa and Darkshleen were referred to as the sisters.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is very interesting to me specifically because I am curious to how that is going to lend itself to Junk's future in some capacity. Maybe the key to freeing himself of Rasa is Darkshleen, or maybe like Darkshleen has just the same darkness in her that Rasa
You
does,
might just be trading one.
Which, well, yeah, what I was going to get at was discovering more about Darkshleen could absolve him of his guilt about Janessa.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? I'm excited about that. We learned that. We also learned that there was a shadow elf who came through before us who, when Matson asked Raphael in the tent about the greater plans of like whether the shadow elves are going to come down and invade, and that's why the gnomes are gaining power. He was like, I don't have much to say, but there was a shadow elf who, much like yourself, was curious about this, and he was on his way to Bravefrost. He came through Valkyrie. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That seems important.
The more
It is important.
It seems very important.
That seems like it's going to rear its head.
Yeah, I like to set up these dominoes, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
You do. You do.
Yeah, and I feel like the discovery of that guy, that other shadow elf who came through, sort of arose other questions as far as all of the pieces that are in motion. Because there was a little bit of confusion. Actually, Paul, maybe you can help us kind of clarify, because I think in the moment we all take notes and we try to stay invested in the moment as possible because we want to make the podcast really, really fun to listen to. But with that, sometimes things get lost on us. Can you kind of elaborate on the moving pieces of Rymor right now for us? We just went to Sansi Village, but we are on our way down to Bravefrost.
Yeah.
There are specific armies heading towards Silverhammer to defend Silverhammer against the gnomes. Could you sort of shed some more light on that?
You were asking me, and then you were filling it in so nicely.
Well, because those are the things that I recall, and I'm curious if there's anything I'm missing.
Yeah, so we haven't heard his name for a while, but there's the general, the commander of the gnome army is Commander Menshal.
Yes.
And Menshal's forces are marching on Silverhammer right now.
From Bravefrost.
From Bravefrost.
Right.
And they are creating this, there's going to be a big battle at Silverhammer. Silverhammer is an incredibly well-protected city. It has huge walls.
Capital, right?
Yeah,
the capital of Shells Basin.
Right.
And we have our party has already come in contact with Caius Falcon. Caius Falcon is sending down his human army from King's Promise to help defend Silverhammer. And now Raphael is like, oh, way ahead of you. The elves from Valkyrie are sending their force from the east to also defend Silverhammer.
So both humans and elves are currently marching towards Silverhammer to defend it.
And of course the free people of Silverhammer, which are predominantly dwarves, but also some gnomes and humans and whoever's collected there.
It's more of it's the New York of the air. It's like more eclectic.
Yeah. They are all there already being like, wow, this is our last Kelbana stone that we have in our possession, and the gnomes are coming to take it. And who knows what sort of power that they've been accumulating down there. Because the other thing about Bravefrost is that it's like so far south. It is frigid. It is they live in these caves and these tunnels and these mountains. Like they've had these trade relations. They're used to this empire with the gnomes, but they are.
They don't go down there.
They don't go down there that much. It's like
it's not a vacation spot.
Everyone's like, what are they up to? And it's like now it's like, oh fuck, they've been assembling quite an army. And so simultaneously, our party is going down the river to sort of back entry, figure out like, okay, yeah, we know what's happening on the front,
right?
But we need to find out what's happening behind enemy lines to maybe diffuse this before it gets even worse.
So we're on sort of an espionage mission as a party at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sort of go in from behind and try to figure out maybe what the plans are. And so we're not, originally our plan was to go and defend Silverhammer, but now we're thinking we're probably not going to, I'm sure that we will end up there hopefully at some point because it seems like an important place. But I feel like our next tasks are all going to be deep within Bravefrost in the throes of enemy territory, right?
Yeah. And the moving pieces that are happening there is there are pieces of an ancient skytiller that have been that are being shipped in giant boxes down the Sansi River that are headed towards Brayfrost. And Raythiel's belief is that a skytiller is going to be sort of reassembled and via necromancy brought back to life in order to do some sort of evil for
so to be their giant Goliath.
Some several stories tall creature. Like this is not just like
could be Amok.
This is not a Lank-sized giant. This is
much bigger.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. This is so fun. I'm so excited to see kind of where we're going.
Yeah.
I do want to give the listeners a little bit of this, and because I'm not sure how much you're going to get in our next chapter. At the end of chapter 7, we saved Sansi Village. There were some beautiful moments shared by Adeline and Fenferril, and the rest of the day was ours to be had. And so one of the things that we did was enjoy the marketplace at Sansi Village, and we did a bunch of shopping. So you can hear that entire shopping excursion. It's unedited. We just let the mics roll and did our shopping. Although, unlike the last shopping experience, we actually did a lot of fun character stuff in this one, and we fell in and out of character. It was a lot of fun. We haggled. There was some bargaining. It's really a lot of fun. You can find that only on the website at dndwpod.com. You can see the pictures of all the things that we had available to purchase, as well as the breakdown of all the things that were available as well. But to kind of sum it up for you guys here, because we probably won't do this in the beginning of chapter 7. We're just going to have our new shit. Matson bought a new pair of blades that give him ×2 attack +2 each blade. So he's rolling a d4. If he rolls a 4, he will get 8 + 2. He will get 10 damage for a roll of 4, which is fantastic. He also bought new pauldrons, which gave him +1 armor class and +2 hit points. Shin guards, which added +1 athletic. A waistcoat, which gives him another point in stealth. And a mysterious key and hourglass. Neither of which we know what.
It's all Matson-y stuff.
Yeah, all Matson-y stuff. Adeline bought a Riverwood longbow. She actually sold her Misnereid bow to get this, which gives her ×2 +4. So it gives her +4 additional damage from her previous bow. She also bought a few special arrows. Listen to the shopping excursion to see what they are. They are weird and fun and awesome. She also bought a new circlet that gives her +2 hit points, a ring that is said to resist magic, but question mark. She also bought an elven wig and a mysterious beverage or fluid of some kind, neither of which we know the purpose of or the properties of. Junk bought those same shin guards that Matson did, which gave him +1 in athletics, so they're twinsies, but they're both a different color because we had the option to stain our armor, which was nice. He also very reluctantly traded in his 9-headed Hydra Smasher, which has been so beneficial to him. He's loved it, but he found this very rare, weird Warhound Warhammer that does +6 damage and gives a chance to stagger. So it was better than his Hydra Hammer, and it also just absolutely totally called to junk. And so he picked that up, and a crystal piccolo that he doesn't know whether he can play or not. We'll find out. Orny bought a ministry robe that gives him +1 armor class and mental magic resistance. The reasoning for this was that we're heading to the Brayfrost, and Orny should definitely not be wearing Kelbana robes. So Orny picked up a robe that will allow him to blend in better in enemy territory. He also bought some alchemical ingredients and a mysterious sundial that we also don't know the purpose of. And as a group, we all bought some fish. We bought wand fish, 2 fish, bread fish, and brew fish. Check out our full shopping outing to hear all of that.
Where can they go listen to that?
dndwpod.com. You can only hear it on dndwpod.com, and you'll see all the pictures and the list and all that fun stuff. It's a fun listen. I feel like the first shopping one was very like us talking about stuff, and this one was actually quite entertaining.
And as we are finished with shopping, there is actually one more task that can be done in Sansi Village. You all may be familiar with an elderly woman by the name of Saga Telejak.
Yes, Saga, voiced by the incredibly fun Sarah, I'm going to butcher her last name, Martellaro.
Yeah.
Sarah Martellaro came in and did an incredible job voicing the very feisty Saga. We appreciate her coming in and lending a voice to that. Saga was fun.
Yeah, she made my dialogue so much more amazing. Like
she put so much more stink on it than you did when you originally did it. Playing.
But yeah, Saga has an enchanting table, and as such, she can enchant rods, wands, staves, and even those wand fish that you just bought.
Yeah, so I'm looking through my inventory, and I don't think that I have anything that is enchantable. Is that a word?
Yeah, not by Saga, because she only knows how to enchant sticks, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I was going to ask like armor or anything.
What about the new crystal piccolo that I just bought?
Ooh.
She cannot
enchant the crystal piccolo. No. All right, it was worth a shot. What about the blow dart shaft? Because it's like, I'm assuming the blow dart shaft is just like a big tube, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit outside of her know-how as well.
That's fair. All right, well, I know, Adeline, I
have a priest rod, actually, from chapter 6.
Oh.
With Layla.
All right, so what can be done to this priest rod?
So, Saga knows 4 different status effect spells and 2 attack spells. The 4 different status effects are Frighten and Sorrow. Frighten and Sorrow work in the way of they will make the enemy or whoever you're casting this at feel sorrow is an incredible sense of grief or shame that is occasionally debilitating, meaning that they will have to pass a check to see if they are so stricken with grief that they cannot attack you. And Frighten works the same way, where it's like they are so stricken with fear that they are paralyzed by their fear, or they might even run away. But they have to sort of pass these checks.
Right.
Now, the other 2 status spells are Muffle and Miasma. Miasma is a fog of confusion that rolls over the enemy or the person that you've hit them with the wand with, and they might react by attacking their comrade in arms accidentally because they're confused, or they might instead start picking up a rock and trying to eat it because they think it's a piece of candy. You know, like they'll just be confused.
Right.
And finally, Muffle we saw illustrated in the chapter, which it silences your movements to the point of making no noise at all. So it's a great buff to your stealth ability.
Right.
The 2 assault spells that she can do are Unrelenting Force, which she demonstrated in the chapter as well, which forces an enemy back.
Right.
This is a great spell particularly if you are fighting on
cliff.
Over a cliff, yeah, because it could instantly kill someone.
It's a force push. It's a Star Wars style force push.
Yeah. I was picturing Skyrim.
Like the Fusrada, whatever it is.
Fusroda.
Yeah. And then the second one you saw Fenferril do, it's inflict wounds, which causes internal hemorrhaging upon the enemy. And both of these are a D10 die plus 5 damage, so they will always at least do 6 damage to your opponent.
Wow. I sort of wish that there was some thing in there that was like healing because of Adeline getting something and then utilizing something that Fenferril did. But do you have something that you have a preference out of all those that you heard that was like...
Many moons ago when I played World of Warcraft as a warlock, there was something akin to Frighten, and I always loved when people ran away from me. That was always fun. But I feel like it actually, first of all, I think Unrelenting Force has to be, I think I have to go with that one.
Really?
Yeah, because we do so much like group fighting that I think that might be, because is it like an AoE sort of thing where anyone in the path could...
It's because it's a rod, you're pointing it particularly at one enemy.
Okay, so we'll only affect one person?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unless they are stacked, like unless they are in a line. Like if you're in a hallway, you're going to knock all of the enemies that are standing in this hallway back because the first person has no place to go but being knocking into the next person like back like dominoes.
Dominoes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm drawn to that. I think I'm drawn to... Muffle, actually. That might actually come in handy, especially if I can cast it on all of us.
Can she, or is it one person as well? I think it's...
It's
10 charges, right?
Yeah, that's more of an area of effect as Saga cast this both on herself and Matsun, but they were in very close proximity to each other.
Okay, so if we're all close enough, it could work.
I honestly, out of those two, I would say the unrelenting force.
Yeah.
I feel like because Matt has such a high stealth number that it's fun to let him be the stealth person versus just having this like, oh, now we have this catch-all where we could just be stealthy, and it's almost like he put all those points into that for nothing. So I almost feel like,
you're so considerate. I'm like, no, it's about winning.
Sure, but that's also kind of what I'm getting at is like we have all as a party worked collectively to get stronger at things.
Sure.
So by doing that,
well, bear in mind, I'm saying that because I'm trying to pick two because I also have I have two wandfish. And I think I'll make one of my wandfish an arrow, but the other wandfish I could pick one of these for. Now, my question though is, would it operate like a wand where it will still have 10 charges?
Yeah. So, and she's looking at the sheet, so she knows how many charges they have. The attack spells have 10 charges, and the status effect spells have 15 charges.
Gotcha. So, what do you think? What do you make a decision? I like all of them. Now I forgot you have 3. I say just pick 3 different things, but you said you want to use one of the wands.
I think I
one
might.
Of the fish as an arrow.
I think I want to save one because that was how I envisioned it. There's, like chapter 10 comes around, there's a big bad, and I'm like, I'm going to throw this fish at it.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a moment. So yeah, I think I would make one of them maybe muffle, the other one unrelenting force. That's kind of what I'm leaning toward.
I have a question. In battle, does Adeline have the ability to and re-equip these, or does she need to do these only out of battle, or does the equipping take a turn? So if she has her bow drawn and she's in the middle of firing, does she then have to wait a turn to swap to a staff or the wand?
As wands are light one-handed weapons, she doesn't need to, like, she can pull a wand right out of her lapel a la Harry Potter and deal the attack very quickly. If it were a staff, that would have to be a full-on, like, you put your wand, your bow back over your shoulders, and then you take your wand.
And that's going to be a turn.
Yeah.
So something to think about.
Cool.
Something to think about, but yeah, I still
it'd be
dig
quick
it.
then.
Yeah.
The wands.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. Basing on your point though about muffle, maybe I should pick a different one for the other one. I was also really drawn to frighten and inflict wounds too. So, maybe I will go with frighten. Actually, that could be fun.
I would personally really like the fog of confusion thing.
Well, I already have arrows that do that. I already have arrows that do the miasma.
You purchased miasma arrows.
The arrows themselves that were also enchanted by Saga Talashok.
Right. All right. So that's what you're going with?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with unrelenting force and frighten.
Which is the fish and which is the rod?
I think the fish will be frighten.
Okay.
Because I like the imagery of fish inflicting frighten. And the priest rod will be unrelenting force.
That's awesome. So you're going to have all this sweet stuff at the start of the next chapter. Is Saga doing this for us just out of the kindness of her heart, or is there a cost to us?
She is doing this out of the kindness of her heart.
Mostly because she's got a crush on Matsun.
Yeah, but she also recognized that we, if no saving of the village occurred, she would be charging for this. But she got to go on an adventure with you, and she watched you. You guys are all heroes worthy of having this done for you.
Aww.
Fantastic. And what about you, Matt? I'm sure Saga would love to enchant some stuff from Matsun.
Yeah, Matt, you have 2 wandfish as well, and you also have your wand that was left behind by Solcian. Saga is able to determine that it is in fact inert. It does not have any enchantment upon it, and thus she can also enchant that one.
Nice.
So what do you think, Maddie?
I'm kind of more interested in the role-playing potential of a lot of these rather than the combat potential.
Which is fair, and I respect.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you have one wand that is completely inert, Solcian's wand.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing I have that I can get enchanted.
I believe so. Was there either Frighten or Force that Adeline picked that you were hoping to have? Or
I'm curious what the difference really between Sorrow and Frightened is, if they're both kind of paralyzing.
Frighten will really only make somebody run away. Whereas the role-playing element is more for the other one, I definitely think, where if they feel a overcoming shame, they might just simply stop fight. You might convince somebody to join our side. It's kind of a total crapshoot. You're not exactly sure how it will affect any given, person we come in contact with.
Sure. Well, if Adeline went with Frightened, maybe I'll Maybe I'll charge it up with some sorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna go with sorrow.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fucked up.
It does sound pretty fucked up. Yeah, I feel like muffle, like I was saying before, since you have so many points in stealth, it seems weird to now just have a spell that makes you stealthy because it's like you wasted all those points.
Yeah.
And I feel the only other interesting thing would be miasma, because I just love the idea of confusing the shit out of people, because they might fight for us. They might, as Paul just said, eat a rock because they think it's a tasty treat.
Yeah. Well, I did grab one Moonwalk arrow, which causes the same thing.
Which is exactly what Adeline did. Yeah.
I think I'm good there.
Right on. So you're gonna go with sorrow then. So you're gonna get Solcian's wand. It's now Solcian's wand of sorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Solcian's sorrow.
So that's what you're going with.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Well, that's fantastic. We are a much stronger party now. We did some shopping. We got some new weapons. So we got some of those weapons enchanted.
Yes.
To do some fantastic stuff. I feel like we as a party have a huge eclectic mix of random things. Matt, you specifically, I think you have the most random shit out of everybody.
Yeah, I've got some shit. I actually
emotionally.
I picked up every little magic item that I could find, and some of it got used or taken. So I want to actually talk to Paul, and I want to make sure I know exactly what I have here.
Sure, let's do some inventory management.
All right. I used to have the Onyx Skull, but I gave that to Orny, right? Because he needed that to...
The Onyx Skull and the Hand of Elmon are currently in Orny's possession.
Right, okay. That's what I thought. Let's see what else I got here. I have the Wand of Soft. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
That has limited use.
Yeah, I think you used it 5 times already.
If Saga could tell me how many charges it had left, that'd be great.
Ooh.
The Wand of Soft, after looking at it, Saga believes that the Wand of Soft has 3 charges left on it.
Ooh, okay. Less than I imagined.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I kind of thought maybe it was 10 to start with, so you had 5 left.
Yeah.
Right. 3 left. Well, let's hope we don't meet 4 more rock things.
And I also have the Arcane Scroll. Was that in the Cannibals?
Yeah, you have the Arcane Scroll that was in the Cannibals tent that when you opened it, or the box that it was in, another spirit came out and your spirit came out to defend you from
that
it.
was back in the Cannibals camp.
Yeah.
That's right. And it was in a language that I didn't understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was before you were a blood mage, so maybe you can read it now.
Okay. I think that's all my questions. So thank you, Paul.
Okay,
delightful. I feel like at some point in game we need to
play with our toys.
Play with our toys.
Yeah.
It's true.
Do you guys want to give away a fantastic prize to one of our delightful rater and reviewers?
Boy, do I.
All right. So you guys know how it works. I'm going to pick a name from the remaining, anybody who's still available to win. There's only been 6 winners previously. So if you're not one of those 6, you're still in the running. And I'm going to pick a name, and that person is going to win something fantastic. Do you want to be in the names to be picked? It's simple.
Yes.
Go to iTunes and leave us a rating and review, specifically the review, because if you leave just a rating, we don't see your name or anything about you. So we can't add you to the list. But leave a review, and you are instantly entered to win one of these fantastic roundtable giveaways.
If you're not sure what to say, you could just say Orny is a cool guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to get 9 of those. That's just going to say that now. All right. So the winner of the official Chapter 7 Roundtable Giveaway.
Who is it?
Pyrez. Pyrez.
I'm afraid of Pyrez.
Pyrez wrote an incredible review. They, like many others, specify that they came from Mythunderstood. Paul, your other podcast that you do with Chapter 6 guest of Quest, Sarah Oliver. They say here the show is fantastic to listen to with sound effects, the wind, the rain, everything comes together to build a world you can really fall into. They say, I was hesitant to start listening to this podcast because I knew I would likely get lost in it, and so I have. So I hope that you haven't gotten into any car accidents or we haven't gotten you fired from work because you are simply lost in Rymore. But also, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You go on to specify the characters feel real, not solely due to voice acting, but because of the passion the 4 of you, and indeed your guests, clearly have adopted for the characters you all portray. Started listening to roundtable episodes about halfway in. Well, good, because now you'll know that you've won. And realized that I should have earlier because they add so much more detail to the world Paul has created and reveal how much effort goes into this show. Thank you so much, Pyrez. Oh, you know what? I screwed it up. It's Pyrez 9.
Oh,
okay.
Pyrez 9. There's a number there. So Pyrez 9. Now you are tasked with shooting us an email at contact@dndwpod.com. Shoot us an email at contact at dndwpod.com. Let us know that you are indeed our roundtable winner, and we will send you an email back with your options. We actually offer a few things to our winners these days.
We're so nice.
We are nice, but not all of us. Mostly you, Matt. So thank you so much. Once again, Pyrez9. Please shoot that email. And if you didn't win this time and you're like, damn it, I didn't win, well, shoot us a review and you'll get added to the list. And it's not only new reviews. Every review we've ever gotten that hasn't won is always eligible to win our roundtable. Forever. As long as we're doing them. Like once the show is over.
Well, they carry over even when we start another campaign.
That's
right?
true. That is very true. Season 2 of D&DW Pod, whenever that happens, we will keep all of the same people in this batch. So as long as we're doing these giveaways, as long as we have a show, which hopefully is a very long time, they'll be eligible. So thank you so much for that. They are absolutely crucial to us. So there's one other piece of business that I want to talk about before we wrap up our roundtable today, and that is the community. Yeah, that's right. The community. Not that great TV show that Yahoo attempted to save but failed. I am talking, of course, of the RPG community. We have so many people that write us saying, oh, I've never... What?
The RPG?
RGBW?
No, I said RPG, didn't I?
You said RGB, like red, green,
I'm
blue.
also a designer, okay? Sometimes things are in my head. The RPG community... we have people that write us saying that they wish they had people to play with, or that they want to try D&D, but they don't know how to start. Well, we want to help you connect. Shoot us an email at contact@dndwpod. Tell us your story. Tell us where you are. Tell us if you've ever played before. If you're looking for games, we want to help connect our listeners. And if you want to skip the middleman entirely, tweet out using the hashtag D&DWConnect. Hashtag D&DWConnect. And hopefully you can find a game of your own. So we can introduce more and more people to this super, super fun experience of playing a role-playing game, because it is absolutely a blast, and we have so much fun doing it, and we think that you guys will too. So with that said, it's time for the business. Of course, please follow Dungeons and Dragon Wagon on all social media.
Hey, sorry, I think I'm going to just go grab a cup of coffee.
You want to grab coffee right now in the middle of a wrap-up?
I'm fading. I'm sorry. Don't.
What are you fading? We're in the middle of a wrap-up. Fine. Jeez Louise. And Matt's also leaving. Why is everybody leaving?
Oh, well, he got out here quick. I think he had to poo again.
That guy and pooing.
He already had his coffee, clearly.
Seriously. All right. Well, with that said, Alexandra getting coffee in the middle of a wrap-up. Please follow us on all social media at D&DW Pod.
Hey.
What? Can I help you?
Hi, guys.
It's Adeline.
Yeah, it's me. It's Adeline.
Wow. You're really happy right now. What are you doing here?
I was with my really cool new half brother, Fenferril, all night, and we had a lot of ale. So anyway,
do you want to sit?
Yeah, actually, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on in.
I could use some sitting.
Sure. Hey, Alexandra, grab some. Would you like some tea or coffee?
No.
No. Do you want a little hair of the dog?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, bring in some liquor with your coffee when you come back.
I think
Adeline is here. She needs a little something.
I think Orny left behind some Sibilan Blue Nightmare. It's like sitting in your fridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
wait, did you say Sibilan Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you guys were drinking all night?
No, we were having ale, but that stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you hung out in Sansi Village all night with Fenferril.
Yeah.
That must have been really fun getting to know your half brother.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
What did you guys get into? You're so jolly right now. You're still a little tipsy, aren't you?
I don't know, maybe.
So what did you guys get into last night?
Oh, we played some checkers, and he told me about his religion, but I don't think he knows a lot about it.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know how much of it was accurate. It's fine.
That's really fine. How do you feel? I mean, having a half brother.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of sucked because I had no more family anymore. Because I had to abandon my parents forever because they're assholes.
Oh, sure.
And then of course, you guys know my brother died. So Charles, not Fenferril.
Yeah, no,
that'd be crazy. He better not die. That would be sad.
That would be so sad.
That would be really sad. Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to think about that.
Okay, so don't think about it.
I'm gonna drink this Sibilan Blue.
That's really blue.
It's very so blue.
It glows a little bit.
So what else did you guys do last night? You played some checkers. You chatted.
it took a little convincing because he's like a really good guy, but we kind of there was like this soft paper that we found and we kind of threw it over some of the huts and just like went a little crazy.
I see. It's like a teepeeing.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we do the same thing. When,
toilet papering.
Yeah.
Oh, you teepeed some Asansi village with Fenferril?
Yeah. I mean, it was like colorful paper.
Oh, so it was like celebratory.
So it looked very pretty.
But the elves do use colorful paper to wipe their asses.
Oh, sure.
Oh.
That's true.
I just use leaves nowadays.
Did you and Fenferril engage with any of the townsfolk? Because they must have been really happy that you liberated them, essentially. This is the second town you've liberated.
Yeah, I guess so. I never thought about it like that.
Wow, you're 2 for 2.
I mean, it wasn't just me. It was the efforts of my party, too, and my brother.
Sure, of course. Is it weird to say your brother?
Not really.
No, got it.
I'm pretty down with it.
Oh, she's down with it. Well, that's fantastic. So did the townspeople?
Yeah. Everyone was celebrating all night after all of the hubbub had passed, and everyone was just drinking and eating, having fun. Orny and Junk were just dancing away, and Matson, of course, just kind of like hung out by himself in the corner.
Yeah,
he always just does that.
Yeah,
he's such a wallflower.
He's such a wallflower.
Are you sure you're not hungry? Like, Jake, don't you have like a half-eaten beef pot pie in the fridge?
I'm gonna pass on that.
Oh, all right.
We had
it's delicious.
We had kind of a crazy experience. Junk used a dart and turned this guy into a beef pot pie, and now I'm just gonna think all beef pot pies are humans.
Oh, that's.
And I just don't want to eat human. I really don't. I mean, like, it's called beef pot pie, but what is it really?
Yeah, that must have been sort of horrifying to see in person. Like, it sounds like sort of comical to us objectively, not actually being there. But was it like? Was it creepy?
It was super creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was steaming a little bit.
So when exactly did the teepeeing come about in the evening?
Oh, I don't know. Sometime when the moon was very high.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And were you guys like sneaking about?
No, I mean, everyone was still partying.
Oh,
some of the villagers joined in.
Oh, they were teepeeing in their own houses and huts and stuff?
It was the younger villagers.
Oh, gotcha. Some of those teens.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you had a really fantastic time. I wonder if there's going to be any repercussions for teepeeing the village.
I don't know. I didn't think about that. I don't even know how I got here.
Yeah, I'm also quite curious how you got here. Is
she crawled in through the window?
Is some of your it was weird. I don't know. We gotta close that window. Is
that not your door?
No, the door is the thing that looks like a door.
Oh, okay.
You're so giddy right now. So you don't remember how you got here crawling in through the window?
Yeah,
was the last thing
teepeeing, as you call it, is the last thing I really remember. I do remember we all said that we might have a seance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember someone making that suggestion that we should have a seance, and then but I feel like they were making a joke. But then I feel like maybe we did it, or there was like a game, or there was like a piece, and there were letters, and you could just, I don't know. It was crazy.
Like a seance could be like fun and games in our world,
right.
But in Rymore, I feel like it's
just a seance.
Yeah, something might happen.
Also, Junk probably was having a hard time pronouncing Sansi in the village you're in. Uh-huh. He might have just been suggesting something to do with the village.
That is very fair. I really don't remember.
We should have a Sansi.
We should totally have a Sansi. Well, Adeline, I mean, this is it's such a delight that you accidentally stumbled in here. It's really interesting.
Thank you. I would be happy to stumble in any time.
What's next for the siblinghood? What's next for you and Fenferril?
If I survive all of this insanity, I don't know. I'm going to come back and just get to know him some more and maybe teach him a thing or two about shooting arrows.
Oh, yeah?
And maybe he'll teach me a bit about whatever it is he does.
Oh, what is it that he does?
I mean, he seems very magical, but I'm sure there's some other things too. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
What do you think about his magic wielding?
I think it's pretty cool. I've seen magic used in this land and from my father as just like this tool of evil. So it's great to see someone using it for good.
Yeah? Do you think that your viewpoint has been changed slightly?
By him, I think. I think on the whole, people, there's a reason it's so coveted, and because it's so powerful, and
It's magic.
Yeah, this conversation is really a bummer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna have some more sibilant blue.
Oh, sure. Have another sip.
I don't like to think about this stuff.
Oh, all right. Wow.
A sip of the sib, as they call it.
Yeah. A sip of the sib from Sansi. Actually, it wasn't from Sansi. It was from the refrigerator. Where is Alexandra? She's taking forever to get this coffee for herself. It's also weird that the Sibulan just showed up here without her coming back. It's very bizarre.
It found its way.
Sibulan blue always finds its way.
That's true.
So, man, there's so many other questions that I have to ask you.
What is that sound?
There's an ice cream truck. There's an ice cream truck driving by the Dragon Wagon studio right now.
What is ice cream?
Oh my gosh! Well, so ice cream's like a really cold cream that it's sweet and it's
something you eat. It's like a treat that you eat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a dessert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, ice cream trucks drive through neighborhoods and they give ice cream to the kids. And
oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah,
it's like a dessert.
It's delicious. It's actually my favorite thing personally. They
have like Choco Tacos and like the SpongeBob shaped one.
Yeah, the Teenage Ninja Turtle was always
I
one of
want
my
all of those things. I've got to go try it.
Okay. Oh wait, no. Where's
Hey.
Oh, she's all right. She's trying to climb through the window.
You could use the
The
door.
door is here, Adeline. Oh, geez, her arrows, her quiver is stuck on the window.
Oh my God! She just dropped like one that
This
was
is a second story.
I think that was a hydro poison tipped one. It almost hit your cat.
And she's down the block. Okay. Well, that was absolutely endearing and bizarre. What a treat.
Hey guys, what did I miss?
Oh, Alexandra, Adeline just stumbled in. She was clearly still hammered from partying all night with her half-brother. And she literally just jumped out the window after an ice cream truck.
She left behind this arrow. Do you want it?
I do.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool looking.
Be careful with it. It's like there's like visible poison on the tip.
Oh, this is
We
gonna
should
be
save this.
This is gonna be very bad for my relationship. She's gonna be threatening me with this arrow at every single turn. Well, I don't know even what to talk about after that. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another round table. We look very much forward to Chapter 8. Only 3 chapters left in our first season.
Aw.
But I'm stoked for it. Matt unfortunately had to run out on us, but he is also excited about Chapter 8, I'm assuming.
He is.
Once again, please make sure you're following us on all social media at D&DW Pod and checking out dndwpod.com for all sorts of fun bonus stuff, including our entire shopping outing, artwork, and other stuff that you're just not seeing in the regular podcast feeds. And make sure you're using hashtag D&DW Pod when you're talking about this show with your friends. Please tell everybody you know about it. If you love it, find somebody else that you think will love it and share it with them. And of course, leave those ratings and reviews for us on iTunes. And you could be just like Pyrez 9, was it? Was it 9?
Yeah.
Or 6. Pyrez 9. You could be just like Pyrez 9 and win big here at one of our round tables. So make sure you're doing that. And last but certainly not least, check out the Dragon Wagon shop. Go to dragonwagonshop.com for a bunch of awesome looking D&DW inspired merchandise. We got a couple new designs that we're excited to get into the shop in the next couple of weeks here, as well as there's the great originals like the Rymore travel shirt. That's a personal favorite. There's our Nature 20, which is this beautiful shirt that is a D20 in this,
So nice.
this tree trunk shirt.
I got one. It's pretty.
You do got one, and it's pretty. So yeah, there's great stuff there, and patronizing the shop is the best way to help support this, DIY podcast network and this specific little podcast that could D&DW Pod. So once again, thank you guys so much for listening. On behalf of everybody here at Dungeons and Dragon Wagon, we will see you next quest.
It's Dragon Wagon.